Hey guys, so today's video is going to be me showing you how I do my brows. Now to do mine, I use the Anastasia Brow Wiz in the color dark brown, and then I go over top of that with the Maybelline Brow Drama Sculpting Mascara. My first step is to take a paper towel and wipe my eyebrows and the skin surrounding it because my skin is really oily. I want to make sure it's nice and dry before I put any product on it. Now I'm just brushing out my eyebrows to untangle any hairs, and I always brush in an upwards direction. Now when I start filling in, as you can see, I'm doing tiny flicking motions. The flicking motions are going to give you hair-like effects versus taking it and just drawing lines to carve out your eyebrow or fill it in. And as you're flicking, always flick backwards towards your ears and upwards. You never want to go forwards, obviously because the hairs on your eyebrows are not growing in that direction. As I get towards my arch, I'm basically going to be drawing on the shape that I want and then continue to fill in by doing the flicking. Now, if you're wondering what kind of arch you want to give yourself, honestly, it's personal preference and kind of goes off the shape of your face. You can Google actually online, like, what shape should my eyebrows be, and it'll show you different charts of like oval face, circle face, whatever, and then it'll show you like the corresponding eyebrow. For me personally, I have kind of like I call it like a grasshopper head, and with that my arch basically starts at the end of my eye. Now if you see just from this area, like if you were to take your finger and put it from the corner of my eye up, that's where I'm shaping my arch. Now this video is real time with very little cuts. I tried to make it as fluid as possible so you could see like every step that I'm taking to fill in my brows. And as you see, it's just a very tedious project of like filling in, brushing, filling in, brushing. And you're really just going to keep doing that until you get a nice fullness to your brow. Also, the more artificial shape that you give your brow, the more you're going to be filling in. So it's going to look less natural than you putting the pencil directly under your hairs. So try to limit the shape that you're giving yourself. If you have thin brows, keep them relatively thin. Like I have thicker brows, so I can go and kind of play with it a little more. And I'm always doing my brows before I do any foundation, and it's for this reason, because I like to take my finger and sharpen up my tail, because doing that with the pencil itself, the pencil isn't sharp enough at the end. It kind of rounds itself out after you're using it, so you can't just draw on like a perfectly pointy end. So I'll take my pinky and I'll just run it along and really narrow out that tail. Okay, so I basically have finished with one eyebrow. Now I'm just going through and following the exact same steps to do the other. Now filling in your eyebrows does take time and practice. Just try to keep in mind that your eyebrows are sisters and not twins. So you're not going to get them to be 100% identical, but just follow the same steps and get them as similar as you can. There are different types of products that you can use to fill in your brows. I prefer the pencil, as you see here. There is also Dip Brow, which is almost like a gel eyeliner, but for your brows. And then there's powder. Some people use one or the other. Some people use a combination of 2 or 3. I personally prefer just the pencil. In my opinion, doing the pencil is the best method if you want it to look like your actual eyebrows. And this just goes because of the technique that we're using to apply it. Like we're doing this flicking motion so we can purposely make it look like we're drawing on little hairs. If you're using something like Dip Brow, you're putting it on with a brush and you're almost drawing or like painting it on. So you're not really getting the look of hair fibers. If you have very sparse eyebrows, I suggest doing the pencil. If you're trying to fill in your brows with a Dip Brow or a powder and you don't have many hairs on your face as it is, it's going to basically apply like eyeliner. If you're just starting out learning how to fill in your brows, the pencil is definitely the safest way to go. And again, just keep filling and brushing and filling and brushing. The more flicking motions you can achieve, the more realistic your brows are going to look. Once you've got both of your brows done, then you can kind of take a step back, look at the two of them, make sure their shapes are as similar as you can get them, brush them out one last time, see if there's any gaps that you need to fill in. And then I like to square off the front of my brows, not a harsh square, but I will definitely do some flicking motions upwards to make it look like there's a sparse amount of hairs fading into a lot fuller, thicker of a brow. And I would recommend brushing the front hairs upward to really amplify that effect. So lastly, I coat my eyebrows in the Maybelline Brow Drama Sculpting Mascara. The point of doing this is just to brush our hair fibers and keep them in place. It is a mascara for our eyebrows, so it's going to keep the hairs from moving. It's going to give them almost like a firm, crispy feel if you were to touch them with your fingers after it dries. Also, it pulls the hairs outside of the pencil and really layers them on top, so it helps to give a nice full effect. Now, I do not get my eyebrows waxed. I also do not pluck them. I buy these little razors. You can get them at CVS or Walgreens, and this is how I clean up my brows. Now, I always do it after my brows are filled in, because by doing that, it's easy to really see which hairs you want and which hairs you don't want in your eyebrow. Now, of course, be extremely careful when doing this. I mean, we all shave other parts of our body, so I'm sure we know how to use a razor. So just be safe, be careful, really concentrate. We don't want to make any mistakes, especially near our eyebrows, because we'll be filling in a lot more than we want to. Now, if you've got a way of doing your eyebrows that is totally different than mine, and it works for you, then just keep doing it. I'm just posting how I did my brows because I did have a bunch of requests on it. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned a lot, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.